Hello, everybody. I am Min Seong Kim. Today, I will talk about American literature. I used Wikipedia and Perplexity AI for research, and the PPT was made by Gamma AI. The video was made by Vrew AI, and it recorded AI voice. To begin with, I will look into the American novel in the late 18th and early 19th century. The first American novels are Thomas Atwood Diggs's Adventures of Alonso, published in London in 1775. After that, Romanticism occurred and it focused on emotions, individuality, and nature. Washington Irving wrote Rip Van Winkle, 1819, and The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, 1820 feet, mixing American folklore with European romantic ideas. Nathaniel Hawthorne wrote full-length romances that explore the themes of guilt, pride, and emotional repression. His masterpiece, The Scarlet Letter 1850, is set in Puritan Massachusetts, about a woman cast out of her community for committing adultery with a minister. Edgar Allan Poe and Herman Melville explored darker themes within Romanticism. Edgar Allan Poe, known for poem, The Raven, and short story, The Fall of the House of Usher, 1839, wrote psychologically intense horror stories and poetry. He also pioneered detective fiction. The Murders in the Rue Morgue is seen as the first detective story. He is widely regarded as one of the central figures of Romanticism and Gothic fiction in the United States. Herman Melville's Moby Dick, 1851, and Bartleby, the Scrivener, delved into complex themes like obsession and the nature of capitalism. These authors looked at the darker side of human nature and society. The following is a novel of late 19th century realism. After the Civil War, writers began to focus on depicting real life. This was called realism. Mark Twain wrote The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, 1884, using everyday language and humor to challenge social norms. Henry James, in works like The Portrait of a Lady, explored the complexities of human relationships and society. On the other hand, naturalism grew out of realism but focused more on how environment and heredity shape people. Stephen Crane wrote The Red Badge of Courage, 1895 feet, and Maggie, a Girl of the Streets, 1893, exploring war, poverty, and human struggles against nature and society. These writers portrayed life as tough and often unfair. Now, let's take a trip to the novel of the early 20th century, modernism. The early 20th century saw the rise of modernism, which experimented with new styles of writing. Ernest Hemingway wrote The Sun Also Rises and A Farewell to Arms, 1929, using a simple, direct style to explore war and loss. F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby, 1925 feet, captured the spirit of the 1920s and the dark side of the American dream. William Faulkner used complex techniques in The Sound and the Fury, 1929. Depression-era literature offered blunt, direct social criticism. John Steinbeck wrote his poor, working-class characters who struggled to lead a decent and honest life. The Grapes of Wrath, 1939, considered his masterpiece, is a strong, socially oriented novel. Other of his popular novels include Tortilla Flat, Of Mice and Men, etc. The next is the novel of mid-20th century, post-war literature. After World War II, American literature became more diverse. J. D. Salinger's The Catcher in the Rye spoke to teenage alienation. Ray Bradbury wrote science fiction like Fahrenheit 451 feet, The Veldt, and The Sound of Thunder, exploring themes of censorship and technology. Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird, 1960 feet, examined racial injustice in the South. The novel of the late 20th century is the postmodernism era. Postmodern writers challenged traditional storytelling. Particularly, young adult literature grew as a distinct genre. Louis Satcher's Holes combined adventure and social commentary for young readers. Lois Lowry's The Giver explored conformity and individuality in a dystopian setting. Finally, let's take a trip to the novel of the 21st century, contemporary fiction. Contemporary fiction continues to explore diverse themes. Cormac McCarthy's The Road, 2007 feet, examines survival and morality in a post-apocalyptic world. Jhumpa Lahiri's Interpreter of Maladies explores Indian American immigrant experiences. Colson Whitehead's The Underground Railroad and The Nickel Boys blend historical fiction with magical realism to explore African American history. I will finish my presentation. Thank you for listening.